no matter if I always have a really successful career or not, I'll always probably do shows no matter what size somewhere. But I really enjoyed having a break from the size, from the magnitude of exposure I'd had. I just by nature, I'm a pretty introspective person, I'm a pretty quiet person, and I really enjoy being outside and quiet. And my life had gotten to the point where that wasn't really an option. And so to deal with as much new things were happening without being able to go away and digest it became really hard for me. And I think it's hard for your art. I think it makes it hard to stay creative in those types of things. So I really didn't miss being in the public eye at all. Like, I didn't worry that, oh no, I'm not on the charts, I wonder if people have forgotten me, or anything like that. I just really enjoyed having a break. The only thing that I think matters is being honest in my writing and being authentic in my writing, and that my job is to be on stage and communicate to people. And I know how to do that. I'm good at that job. The rest I just let take care of itself. I'll go to radio stations and promote, but that ends up being easier because it's sort of a side effect of what my real goal is. So if I keep that frame of mind, I find it to be pretty easy being in the machine. There's never been anybody that's asked me to compromise who I am. There's never been anybody, everybody would be willing to let you, but I've never had anybody flat out say, you must start wearing short shorts and wiggling your butt more. There's never been that kind of pressure at all. Writing songs to me is kind of like having a child or something that you're responsible for. It's not yours, and you're trying to understand it the best you can, and you're trying to do justice the best you can to what it is in its own individuality. And sometimes I do better at that than other times. As a lyricist, like when I write a song, I get a very potent emotion, and then my job as a lyricist is to try and match lyrics to that emotion that won't dilute it at all, so that when I say the lyrics, people understand with the same force, the same emotion I was inspired to write about. And sometimes it gets more diluted than others. I'd had a certain slot on the record that I wanted to be filled lyrically. There was a lot of things I was watching over my 2 years off that I was wanting to talk about and just hadn't come out in a song yet. And I was driving from the airport to the ranch in Texas. It's about a 2-hour drive, and someone else was driving, so I wrote the whole song during the drive. And it actually was built on a song I wrote a long time ago. I played a Democratic convention really early on. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember writing a song with a drop D string and the same 6/8 rhythm. And it was a political song, and it had the starting line of, "You see the ghosts of the buffalo glittering on the horizon." And that lyric has always stuck with me, but the rest of the song never came together. Like, the energy was really good that started that song, that old version of it. And it had a lot of potency and power, but I just never got to it. Lyrically, it just never quite came up, and so it just sat in my brain I forgot about it for years and years and years. Then all of a sudden, it just sort of came back to me, that first line, and then it just came out. It took, I think, 5 years of incubation, but it finally hatched. Love songs can be tricky when you write them because they can be really, the potential for the cheese factor is really great. So I think it's a little more of a challenge when you write a love song to do it in a way that's poetic and interesting and new and original, because really all you're talking about is something that everybody's talked about since the beginning of time. So you're trying to find a way of expressing it that makes people feel that feeling all over again in a fresh way, and it's a hard thing to do. Since I was a kid, I've been real fascinated with lyrics. I think some people listen to rhythm section and other people listen to lyrics. I've always listened to lyrics for some reason, so I've always been real fascinated with which doesn't necessarily mean everything is a political or social commentary, because I don't think that music needs to be a messenger of political opinion. But I've always been really fascinated with turn of phrase. I think Cole Porter was probably one of the biggest influences on me lyrically coming up as a kid. I was really, what's one of his favorite lyrics of mine? Mrs. Harris Pat wanted a Paris hat. I don't know why, but I always thought things like that were very, very clever, just little turns of phrase like that. So I've always been really fascinated with lyrics and with trying to get more than one thing accomplished with a lyric. Not just entertaining, but being able to give it at least 4 different meanings, so you can look at the lyric from different angles and get something out of it different every time. So it's more of like a hologram. And to me, that's just always been part of my writing process. It's just what interests me as a writer, and it's always interested me as a listener. Hits are great. Hits have done a lot for me. But I don't think you can, there's 2 ways of writing music. You can write music trying to get a hit, or you can write songs and see if one of them ends up being a hit. And I prefer the second. I just prefer to write lots of songs, and if they end up hitting in sync with pop culture, that's great. But if they don't, I don't feel like it's something that's worthwhile to chase, because it's a very fickle animal. And I think it ends up making you, I think it ends up hollowing you out as a writer. I think it ends up making you listen to public fad more than it makes you listen to the pulse of humanity and to the pulse of your own heart. And I think that when it comes to longevity, the only thing that will give you longevity is if you're really staying true to what is interesting you, what's moving you, what's hurting you, and what's hurting people around you, and what's moving people around you. Otherwise, you just end up getting hits that are, you know, that'll sound dated in a year, and you'll end up, nobody will end up remembering it. It won't significantly change the scene or anything. I took at least 2 years off from the End of Spirit or the Christmas record to this record, and in that time I wrote, and I just sort of really removed myself from the business entirely. I wasn't sure if I'd ever come back, and I gave myself the option of if I didn't want to come back, I wouldn't do it. You know, it was only going to be if I fell in love with it again and if I ever felt rested again. And so it was really a similar time for me as when I lived in my van. In a way, it was sort of, what is my purpose in life? What makes me fulfilled? And at 18, the answer to the question was what I had done, and at 25, I kind of had to reassess that question and make sure it was still the same answer. So I was very pleased to find that I actually even felt like doing a record again. I wasn't sure if I would or not. And then I didn't know what kind of record it would be. I decided, you know, that I'd only make music that I enjoyed. I wouldn't try and always outdo myself or try and outdo sales or try and outdo hits. Because all you can do is write songs that you really believe in and that are honest with you. The reason I co-produced this record and the reason I felt it was important to co-produce is because I was the only person that held a vision for what I wanted the record to be like. I had very, very specific goals. I wanted the record to stay raw. I wanted it to be pretty diverse musically. And I had just really specific things I wanted each song to accomplish. And I was the only one with that. I was the only one that I knew how I wanted the record to come out. And I had to share that vision and find somebody that would agree to that vision, and also that I felt like would actually be able to execute that vision. I also finally learned enough about the craft of actually what it takes to record a song technically and to record music that I was able to be a lot more involved in the input, because I could, the vocabulary and the language was much more available to me this time to be able to express thoughts and opinions musically and also technically. I think on Spirit, I was trying to find my voice, but I think I didn't really hit that stride until the record This Way, where I was really able to put aside press opinion, where I was able to put aside record company pressures, and where I was able to really get at music and get at making a record from a really innocent place of just love of doing it, love of the song, love of the craft, love of invention, and being able to write a record and produce a record that would reflect that joy and that experimentation more than it would reflect a fear and a concern about how it would be perceived. So I think from that standpoint it was a very freeing and liberating experience, and I think it shows on the record. I think that when people hear it, they'll feel that abandon that I was proud to have actually accomplished. I feel very fortunate that I've been able to remain in a business on a path where many, many people lose their footing. I've seen it again and again with people, and I'm sure you have. I think everybody has. I feel proud that I've been able to stay on that path without losing sight of what makes me happy, what makes me feel excited creatively, and that I've been able to maintain that along the way. And that my goal has been to retain that familiarity with myself more than it has been to be hugely successful. So I feel like I'm really glad that never at a point in my career have I felt miserable and like I lost myself, or like I lost my point, or like I felt like I wasn't true to myself.
We are totally psyched about tonight's performance. It's going to be awesome.
I don't want you for the weekend. I don't want you for a night. I'm only interested if I can have you for life.
Heck yeah, we're excited about the show, aren't you?
I know I sound serious. Maybe I am. You're a fine piece of real estate. I'm gonna get me some land.
That she's just going to shine like a star, because that's what she is.
Don't try to run, honey. Love can be fine. There's no need to be alone when you find.
If I could sing with Shania, I would probably sing I'm Gonna Get You Good.
I'm gonna get you while I got you inside. I'm gonna get you if it takes all night. And you can bet you by the time I say go, I'm gonna say no.
I'm ecstatic. How about you?
Gonna get you, it's a matter of fact. I'm gonna get you, don't you worry about that. And you can bet your bottom dollar in time you're gonna be mine. You got it, just like I should. I'll get you good.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Once in a lifetime experience, I think.
I've already planned it. Here's how it's gonna be. I'm gonna love you, and you're gonna fall in love with me.
Her beginning and how she started and where she is now, she's an inspiration.
Love can be fine. There's no need to be alone when you find that someone.
If I could ask her any question, it would be, do you need another backup singer? Because I would love to sing for you. I am so proud to be a Shania Twain fan. She puts so much energy into her shows, and I love all of her songs. They're great. Shania Twain is classy, beautiful, has an awesome voice. She's different, she's unique. How she stays so skinny.
Have your boots been under? Whose heart did you steal, I wonder? This time it feel like thunder, baby. And who did you run to? And whose lips have you been kissing?
Okay, do you want to get...
I should be back home,
Okay.
which probably doesn't help anyway. Well,
You're
Well, maybe not that far. I don't know.
Sea lighting, so I mean, they haven't lit anything yet.
Okay, and then I'm figuring the last two, they need to be in line with me, or maybe just like that, one there and one here. Like that.
You want to?
Two, yep, and two. But then I forgot I need to move over this one. So wherever Carol is, I'm just doing it, and then we'll talk. Like I'm doing it where I feel it should be, and then we'll talk about the technical part.
Central station.
But we don't want to be in the center.
You don't want to be central station. Where do you want?
Okay. This is Jerry and Ron. They're going to be here, and Allison and Dan are going to be here, opposite them, mirroring them. And we're going to leave the back open. Nobody's going to be behind me.
You have a license for that? You have a license to do that? How many unions are you in?
I think it looks better. Because now it's not like this, and then this little thing over there. Well, the vibe I was after, with this show was to basically feel like we were all at a house party. And with Alison Krauss and Union Station, I kind of felt like having them was going to musically make it very intimate and break it down from the usual big sound that I have on the records and in concert. So I thought that was very appropriate, having it more rootsy sounding. And of course having a small audience, going from 30,000 to 300 makes it very intimate and personal. And I really did want to approach the whole thing and the whole vibe as though it were a private party.
Let me ask you to talk.
That's all right, because I need to know. I'm going to just sort of go.
I really like her songs a lot because none of her stuff really sounds like the typical country you hear every day, and it's just awesome.
What I think is so special about Shania is the fact that she's such a good role model for every girl out there. She's conservative, but yet she's still sexy in a way, so she's just a good one to follow.
I think she connects with the fans really well, and that's very important.
She's very different.
Just the fact that she stopped for 3 years and all she's back and just as good as ever.
She has a lost mind. Spinning wheels in time.
That's like turning down 2 frets. But even, I don't know if any mandolin can be tuned down 2 frets and still play.
You'll just have to figure out whatever.
Just have to get where you at. I know, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I was going to do that.
Oh, good.
It's fine. As a matter of fact, you tricked me into
And I'll try to draw on this just to have something. Work, and
I don't feel a problem.
not just a pretty face. It's got a very light, fun flow to it, but it has a very deep meaning for me. And it says a lot about how I feel as a woman and how I feel about other women. I think it says a lot about my true perception of women in these times.
That she was playing with Union Station and Allison Krauss. That's really cool. Actually, I'm excited about that.
Of course, I'm very familiar with Allison Krauss and Union Station's music, so I had some kind of an idea of what it would sound like. But I was still surprised, and pleasantly surprised, and really just thrilled about the way it all sounded. It just had a different groove, and it just shuffled along, and they're such fabulous musicians that it was pretty magical.
I'd love to drop everything. I'm in the basement these days, man.
Can I get some tea? Carrie went to get it. I think Carrie went to get it.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, because I can't hear very well.
Who's there? If you did want to drop it, what would that mean for everybody? Hell? No? Okay, ground. You drop? Anytime you guys are ready.
All right. Yes, sir. Hang on, I'm checking out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Whose bed have your boots been under?
Sorry. Any more of the vocals I worked in, Allison?
Hey,
Who's, can I hear you, Allison? 2, 3, and whose bed have your boots been under? Yep, and could you make Dan's voice more
hey, whose bed have your boots been under?
Whose bed have your boots been under?
You steal, I wonder. This time would it feel like thunder? Whose bed have your boots been under? This time did it feel like thunder? This time did it feel like thunder?
Which one? I've been a fan probably since her first CD came out, Woman and Me.
You know, I always enjoy doing the earlier hits. I'm so grateful for those songs. Those are the songs that got me started. And there's nothing more thrilling for me than to watch an audience sing a song from, that I recorded 10 months ago to a song that I recorded 10 years ago. It just is a very fulfilling experience, and they're just a part of me, and they're part of my history. So I'll never get tired of doing them, and it always brings me great pleasure.
Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. We might have took the long way, and we knew we'd get there someday. They said, I'll bet. And it's largely.
I love the way that she changed country music and put a lot of attitude in it. And I think she's a good trendsetter, and I look up to her, and I sing myself, and I want to be like her. She's cool.
Doing the AC/DC song, You Shook Me All Night Long, is probably one of the highlights of my career, because it was, in a sense, it's sort of bringing me back to my teens. I used to sing AC/DC songs in clubs, of course, I've rocked to AC/DC songs at many a house party, and it just really is a thrill to actually do an AC/DC song as part of my recording career. So I kind of feel like I've gone full circle and done it all now. And of course, Mutt being the producer of that song originally just ties it all in and makes the world such a very small place. So it's really great.
Oh, you guys totally suck.
I know, I can't.
Yeah, you shook me. 1, 2, 3, 4. You really shook me all night long. You did a bit of man.
I'm holding on to love to save my life. I just really believe that love has to come from the heart, and it's the only place you can really find it. You're not going to find it on the net. You're not going to find it by spending your weekly visits at the psychiatrist. At least that's what I believe. I mean, I think all those things help, but I think that if you're really searching for love, you got to follow your heart. So that's why I wrote that song.
Okay, let's do Hold On to Love. Can we do that? Yeah. Kiki.
vocalist as far as she's a really good writer. So that's probably the thing that stands out the most to me as far as her performing and so forth.
Ain't No Particular Way is an old favorite of mine. I feel like I've been singing that song for years, even though it only just got recorded on this latest CD. I mean, it has been around for a very long time in my repertoire. And so it's kind of an old friend that I'm just introducing now. And I just love the jazz of it.
So, if you want to come with me.
Do you want me to worry about rerouting?
We will. We'll reroute.
It actually sounded better out there.
Oh, good.
That, I don't know why. Allison, are you here? Yoo-hoo!
You can come in.
Can I?
Yeah. She's
Oh,
not interested.
Hi. Okay, well, you know what? Can I talk to you then, Dan?
Yeah. Come on in.
Because, do you mind if the camera follows us? Because
No,
it's just kind of
They're working on it.
for in my car.
On the ooze.
They gonna get it in here?
Yeah.
Unison on the first one. Oh, not okay. Instead of ha ha.
Well, just not
Yeah,
so soft.
I was going. Yeah.
Like more like cutie. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. You can put a hole in my shoe and then in my car, like real.
Oh, a little more. You just exaggerated a little bit.
I'll be yes, more like more spunky.
Sassy.
Yeah. Sassy. Yeah.
Can I do this? Can I do this one? House go.
You can, but I mean, we haven't been singing together, so. But that was the first thing I wanted to say. It was those mostly.
And I was definitely not doing that. I know. I was.
You were doing more oohs.
I was definitely doing you.
I said oohs.
Ooh. I'm gonna do it just like that.
We're gonna start with that one. That's why I thought I would just get it in your head now. In my car, I really have fun with that one. I love it a lot, especially live. It just feels great, and I just think we all need that one place where we can go and have complete control.
You can choose a channel when we're watching the TV. Yeah, all day, it's okay. And you can take the plate when we're pouring ice cream. I don't mind if that's fine. I do. Yeah, you. Lovey, do you want to hear something? Want to hear a different smack on the drum there, in between? Oh, that was a mistake. Sorry. I thought something. Okay, that's fine. Sorry. Mark. I just thought that. And Steve, I'm a bit loud.
Sing a little bit. Okay. In my car, I'll be the driver. If this goes on TV, we're gonna have problems. Just please put it on. Cut.
Hi, Shania. I can't wait to see your show, and I hope that I get to meet you, and I would love to sing with you.
I would probably ask her just what it's like to be a famous country singer.
I would ask her if I could play guitar for her someday.
I would just ask her how in the world she juggles it all because she's such a superstar and I think she's just amazing and I don't know how I could ever do something, a career and a family, and I would just definitely ask her how in the world she does it.
I'd probably ask Shania what has motivated you to get this far, and she'd probably say her family and her parents, but I'd probably ask her like what keeps her going, like where does she get her ideas from for her songs.
I would ask Shania Twain. There's so many. I don't know which one I would ask.
Does she plan on having any more children?
Yeah.
How does she like living? I know she lives in like Scotland or something, doesn't she? Switzerland? I knew it was somewhere out there.
No.
I would ask her, where do you shop?
If I could dress Shania Twain, I would dress her up in that Get You Good outfit. And I wonder if it velcros or it snaps.
Shania, thank you so much for putting on a great show. You've done so much for the world, and we just love all your songs. You're a great gal and great family woman. Thank you so much.